Delighted to be here, delighted to be at a school I can rightfully claim to be not just the mother of the school, but the grandmother of the school in many ways. I've had 4 children here and 2 grandchildren. So it's a sense of tremendous belonging. But coming back to school, when I used to come and drop my children here, today when I came up those stairs, it brought back a whole host of memories. It brought back memories of my own school days. And some of those memories, I have to tell you, aren't that pleasant but worth sharing. When I joined school, I was a young girl from Delhi, not at all accustomed to Bombay and Bombay's ways. I felt disadvantaged. I was seen as a provincial child in a school that had extremely sophisticated and far better off students. I found my feet literally on the sports track and I became a champion athlete. But to find my feet, I actually did not possess the resources to buy the spikes that were imported spikes in those days and which would make you run that much faster or at least compete more fairly.
My parents would support the spiked either. My father was a senior and honest bureaucrat with 4 children to raise, so resources were scarce. This is where it's so important in school when you find a mentor. And for me, that was I had a sports captain who recognized a certain talent in me and decided, they came from athletic background and they decided they wanted to help me achieve my potential. They invested in those spikes for me. They invested in making sure I got the best professional training. The person who decided to train me was a great national athlete trainer called Kunal Rao. He didn't charge a fee, he sent something in me too, and he said, I will do it because I believe you're a winner. Being a sports champion gave me the confidence that I lacked socially, and it made me feel I can achieve something if I tried hard enough. That stayed throughout my school days, but it didn't mean that I was a champion in other ways. In fact, I was a very mediocre student. I was not interested in academics, and that perhaps must have disappointed my school principal. And then came a very traumatic year for a whole set of combinations of circumstances and bad decisions perhaps, or when I look back, I think about what made me do what I did, what made my principal take the decision that she did on my behalf. I was always a liberal arts student. I loved English literature, I loved English language, and for whatever reason in those days we had to pick either the senior Cambridge batches, the last few, and in fact the students didn't have much of a choice in picking, the principal picked for you. And she decided I should be doing higher math, physics and chemistry. I was a dud in all 3, and it was not just being a dud in all 3, it was something that I found scary and intimidating and terrifying. At that stage, another wonderful lady, and I owe her such a big debt, she was my English teacher, Mrs. Thomas. And she very kindly decided to intervene on my behalf, and she went and spoke to the school principal, and she said, she pleaded on my behalf and said, if you don't want her to be in the liberal arts program, I will tutor her myself and let her do her English literature classes without attending class, let that be that extra subject for her. And my principal said, no way. It was a big blow, but I will always owe to thank Mrs. Thomas, because the love for words, love for literature, and I thought to myself, you can take it out of the curriculum, but you can't take it out of a child. And that has stayed with me, and that has helped me discover just not myself, a world of imagination, a rich world out there of just the most incredible writers internationally and nationally. It gave me the confidence to become a writer myself. So Mrs. Thomas, I really owe you a big one. When my children started going to a very posh elite, the best school, as was said earlier, with the highest standards, not just in education but in extracurricular activities, I found them blossoming and developing as individuals, not just as good students but on multiple levels. And there came again a turning point when my son Aditya taught me a lesson that I cherish today as a mother, and I hope I'll take it forward as a grandmother too. It was a school production of My Fair Lady. My niece was playing Eliza Doolittle, and Aditya was one of the backup dancers in one of the musical numbers. And as a parent, you're always thrilled to see your child up on stage, as I was. And I could see the platform snapping away, and I could see that he could spot me, he was quite embarrassed, and I was over enthusiasm. So just after the show ended, I went backstage and I started congratulating him in effusive terms. Of course, I hugged my niece and told her how fantastic she was. It was a great production, and I think the Cathedral School has carried on the tradition of great productions year after year. Aditya then came to me very quietly and he said, Mother, you really embarrassed me because, it wasn't a solo performance, it was teamwork. There were at least 50 other students on that stage. And you come in there and single me out for praise, and that's just not done. It's not on. You should have come and you should have congratulated all participants because they made the play as much as me with my tiny little role at dancing on stage did. And again, that is a lesson I won't ever forget. About my own school years last year, I just managed to scrape through, and I would have probably remained in the back of the beyond had it not been for my sports record. And I managed to transfer to liberal arts program in St. Xavier's College because of my sports and not because of my academics. But again, the fathers they were very kind, very supportive to give someone like myself an opportunity because my grades were really bad. Apart from anything else, that last year at school, all of us in the 11th grade decided as a school leaving prank. I agree, in retrospect it was the smartest prank we playing in school, but it was a collective decision taken by the entire class. And we decided to stage a fire alarm a drill which was unscheduled. And that led to a lot of panic. And it led to a few unfortunate and stupid things that schoolgirls sometimes do when they're carried away by the whole prank and the mischief it was likely to generate, which it did. Once the prank was done with, we were all pulled up naturally by the teachers and the principal, and she asked who were the ring leaders. Now, as I mentioned earlier, it was a collective decision taken by two class sets of classrooms, which means there were more than 60 students who were aware of it and endorsed it, were happy to be a part of it, till it went wrong. Suddenly, a single hand went up as to who thought of the fire drill trick. So I put up my hand, and with me 6 or 7 other students put up theirs, and we were promptly rusticated from school, and it was a tough thing to go home and explain to your parents that this last year of your life in that school you've been thrown out of a prank you played, which to us continued to look very innocent. We couldn't understand the overreaction. But what disappointed me was not that I was rusticated, but that the rest of the people kept quiet. It taught me many lessons. It taught me about speaking the truth, owning up. You've done something, have the courage to own up. The principal was not very clear. So for my school leaving certificate, she did write a comment which told me very clearly that anybody who gets your certificate from this point on, wherever you go in the world, wherever you need to present the certificate to get it to the next level of anything, will interpret this and they will know what kind of a student you are. I had no choice. I had to take that certificate, but I did not bow my head and I didn't lean for her to change it. I said, thank you very much, and I walked out. Years went by, and suddenly I had made something of my life, which the school was very proud of. They were going to be felicitating the same lady, and they wanted certain prominent students from the school to come and join in the celebrations and to honor her. They asked me whether I would be able to do it. I hadn't been able to step back into that school after what had happened. I never wanted to go back ever. And I talked to to myself, so many years have gone by, she's an old and aging lady. Do I have it in myself to say that in the past and I'm old? It was a very difficult decision when I took it. And I met her, and when I met her, I was wondering, I used to have nightmares. What if I ever met this person again? How would I respond? What would I feel? Will I start crying? Will I say, I hated you for so many years? You almost destroyed my life. Will I do that? But when I met her, I actually hugged her. And at that moment, I was free of her. And I was free of that negativity within myself. And I realized, you are going to be people in your life, I'm sure all of you have at some point or the other, who don't understand you, who don't understand what you're about, and get your potential. But for all of those, there are those who do, and why not focus on them? So it was a fantastic moment, and when I realized how free I was, and in that hug proved everything to me, I was so much lighter. Today, I no longer have those nightmares. And I look back and really I thank her because it taught me to stand up for myself and to stand up against bullying. To stand up to a bully, you don't have to do just once in your life. And trust me, the bully is bad off. The other